You want to honk it or you want me to do it? Okay, let's get to 30. Alright guys, what's going on? So we had a kind of a crazy day of filming, you guys. We got Lucian repping the block. Go give him a shout out. This is the guy that always helps us, gets us all of our fancy shots. Look at his lewd. His lude's sitting nice and pretty now. We got the Beamer right there, Beamer, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, you guys, if you want to see the video that we just filmed, which was a bunch of motorcycles driving around, we were the chase car in the Celica. We filmed a bunch of guys riding around in fat suits. So I'll put a link to that right up here somewhere. Anyway, you guys, today we are going to film a Civic Type R. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to be able to drive this car. It's actually a good friend of Lucian's and it ended up working out because we were going to drive the car when it was at the dealership and it ended up just not working out. Well, now one of his friends actually bought the car, so we get to film it. So once we get to the Civic Type R, we're going to pick this video right back up.
Swear they never really understand me. I need a comment like I need a Grammy. She laced the flow with her designer panties. Yeah, we eating plenty. Check the pantry from the sound waves to the rebel lines. From the tattered bridges to expensive dishes. Now we eating ends with these new beginnings. Yet to sign a major for the bankroll. But thank the Lord that it dies in penitentiary. Nice guy, but my inside is empty. Mighty flashy with a bird's eye. Scribble gems to get my pockets lined till I get arthritis. Wish my heart is icy. Walking past the bouncer like I knew somebody. Crew like hella cloudy at a poison ivy. If I'm like a stronger with a co-sign me. I don't even like me. No, I'm staring in the mirror. Claiming the goodness, the shy, but timid, the riddles.
Yo, are you ready?
Yeah, give me a second.
No, I'm filming you.
What?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Look at this new steering wheel, guys. Oh. Okay, that thing's nice.
Thanks.
Wait, there's still something wrong with your car, though.
I don't want to talk about it.
Slam it down, slam it down. Oh. Hey, now this makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to honk it or you want me to do it? Okay, let's get to 30. I gotta get this old car coming. Oh, look at this old car that's coming by. Oh, backwards. All right, guys, so we just got to the bridge. I'm talking kind of loud. We got a lot of cool cars running right now. We got the GTS. Tell me what this is. What is it? Model A. Yeah, so we got this Model A. We just came out to the bridge to get some fancy shots out here, and this thing pulled up right next to me. And this is awesome, you guys. Appreciate everything. Like, these cars couldn't be any different from each other, but look at how awesome this thing is. All right, guys, so we made it out to the bridge. This is like my absolute favorite spot to come with cars. It's just like super peaceful out here. Lucian's back there getting some fancy shots. If you saw the Model A that we just got, that's what makes the car community awesome, you guys, because this Type R and the Celica are different enough within themselves. And then you have that car, there's like, other than the fact that they have wheels and a steering wheel, there's like no similarities between these cars at all. But that's what makes the community great. This gentleman was able to come out and talk to us just a little bit. So we're gonna hang out here for a while, just have a good time. It's a beautiful night, get some fancy shots. Then we're gonna get a little bit of a driving experience in the Type R. And the Celica is gonna be a chase car. If you saw the roll race though, she's gonna have a little trouble keeping up. Dude, I love this spot.
Yeah.
This is just sweet. Mine's all filthy, but Type R looks really good. Come look at this view, guys. Just look at this. This is why this is like my favorite spot ever to take cars. Like, they look so sweet just sitting here. And if we look, you can like, bet you won't. Look at this thing, you guys. So we got Brembo brakes up front, and look at, there's like almost no space between that caliper and the wheel. Absolutely giant. All right, guys, so we're about to do the first pull ever in the Civic Type R. And now I'm gonna be nice to the car because it's not mine, and it only has like 200 miles on it, so it's not completely broken in yet. But let's see what we got. It's like seamless, you guys, and the exhaust sounds good. It's not too loud. My Celica's obviously obnoxious. This thing's not loud like that, but it's just the first thing I notice here, and we're on our way to a windy road so we can see how it handles, because obviously that's more what this is about. But don't quote me on this. I think we're talking about 300 horsepower roughly, so it also is going to be a quick car. But my first kind of impression is this thing, it feels like a car you could drive every day. Now, obviously, we're comparing a new car, 2020, to my Celica, which is a 2003. This is way more comfortable, obviously. They're kind of in the same realm of cars, though. I mean, they were both little Japanese tuner cars. Obviously, this has probably a bigger following than a GTS Celica. This is boosted, and it's going to make a considerable amount more power. About 100 more horsepower than my Celica. But the goal of both of these cars was very similar. The Celica and the Civic, they're never meant to be the fastest cars in the world. You're supposed to enjoy the driving experience. The Celica has the lift, obviously, which is the variable valve and lift timing change that Honda perfected, honestly, and then Toyota decided they'd have their go at it. I'm really excited to get this thing on a twisty road and just see how it does, because again, apples to oranges, but they're in the same realm of cars, right? These cars weren't meant to be straight line performers. They're meant to just, you're meant to just enjoy the driving experience. And I know here in the good old US of A that we've been begging for this kind of thing for a long time. Honda fans in America have been screaming for a Type R for ever since I could remember, ever since I've been into cars. And now we finally got one. And this thing, I think, is going to make me very happy. I say I think because we haven't been driving it much yet. Right now we're on a straight road. Like I said, not my car, so I'm going to be nice to it. But we're going to get some twisties, and then we'll see what she's got. All right, so as we're approaching our twisty road, I just wanted to mention a couple things about this interior. And I know, like, I never do like a full like interior review of a car because I really don't care. I care about how the thing drives. But to some degree, the interior actually has something to do with that, right? And I love how everything is placed in here. The way the door sills are, the steering wheel position relative to the seat, the shifter. Some cars you get in when you shift, it's like it's a labored effort to actually like find the shifter. This, it's like just supernatural, like right where my hand would lay. And every Honda I've driven has kind of been like that to some degree, but this thing feels really nice. Another thing that I've noticed is the shifts and the clutch pedal, they're so light and easy. Like, I'm used to my Celica, which is super notchy. The clutch in my Celica isn't super heavy, but it's heavier than this is. I just can't get over how seamless the shifter feels. The throws are nice and short, but it's not super notchy, and it just feels like it just feels like it's really effortless. I'm sure you could put a short throw in here and make it a little notchier. Now that I'm used to the Celica, that's kind of what I prefer, but it feels really good. I like how everything ergonomically is laid out inside the car. And you have this Alcantara suede everywhere. The seats I like so far. We're kind of going to see what those do once we get to the twisty road. But so far, very impressed with just the interior of this car. Because again, I'm not going to beat the snot out of this thing because it's not mine, and I'm very grateful that Lucian was able to hook it up with his friends. So thanks for letting me enjoy this car. We'll be at the road shortly, and then we'll see what she's got. All right, so the road that I wanted to go to, there's 2 sheriffs parked on it right now. So we're gonna drive back that direction and see if they're there, and if they're not, then we're just gonna have to find another road. All right, it was like a social distance graduation drive or something super weird. So that's why the cops were there. We'll roll this window up. Here's the twisty. Feels super planted. One thing I noticed right off the bat in this car is the steering wheel feels really heavy, and that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing. In, you know, older cars, everything was mechanical, and now we have electronic assist in steering, and they can just feel a little too easy, a little too dead. The Celica does a pretty good job of it as well. I like the way that the steering feels in that. This feels like incredibly heavy. I do this a little bit, and the car is just planted, and it feels like the steering wheel is a part of the car versus a lot of other newer cars where the steering wheel, it feels too dead, it feels too light, and you can tell it's like artificially influenced. We're coming up to another corner here, going to 5th. Just kind of glide around it. Again, I'm not going to beat on this thing. It's not my car. I've got to respect the owner and the fact that this thing isn't broken in yet. Overall, though, you guys, I just can't get enough of how easy it feels to drive. Like, the power's there if you want it, but it's easy. I mean, it's not hard to drive. You don't have to think about it too much. You could easily daydream and take this thing on a road trip. Pretty quiet inside. Obviously, it's not like driving a Cadillac, but it's pretty comfortable. I love these seats. They grip me super well. Obviously, this is the Type R, so they put some consideration into that, but they did just a phenomenal job making something that's, you know, you can tell that it's focused. You can tell that its focus is on the driving experience and having fun, but it's also not like unbearable. If you saw the video I did of my uncle's 350Z that he had, that thing was lowered, it had a loud exhaust on it. It was just exhausting to drive that car. It was fun, it was fast, but it was ungodly stiff, it was bouncy. You had to watch out for bumps on the road just because how low it sat, and the exhaust, it was just tiring. This isn't like that. The exhaust honestly could be a little louder for my taste personally, but it's not too loud. Like my Celica, you guys, I like the sound that it makes, but it's too loud. I didn't do that. I bought the car like that. I really actually appreciate this a lot because it's fun when you want it to be, but it's not like obnoxious. And the turbo just kind of sneaks up on you in this. It's not like hitting a wall. Some boosted cars, especially aftermarket boosted cars that I've driven, it's like normal car, whoa, and the turbo kicks in, it's just obnoxious, which makes it fun. But this being a stock car, the turbo, it hits hard if you really throttle it out, which I haven't. This is just what the owner told me, but it kind of creeps in there. It doesn't make a super obnoxious noise. It doesn't have like a super big jump. It's pretty linear feeling. It's pretty smooth all the way through. Again, not beating on it, but that's just what I've noticed so far. Kind of switch the angle up a little bit, get the sun out of the shot. Sorry guys, you get to look at my face, lucky you. Oh. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, we're coming back to the curves and then we'll hit them one more time and just see if we get any more thoughts about this car. All right, so we're coming up to the first curve again. I'm gonna give her a little bit, but not too much. It's kind of an S. It stays so planted, like you have no, and there's virtually no torque steer that I can feel. Again, I'm not beating on it super hard. Coming into this next curve here, you hit it and you can't tell that this thing's front wheel drive. I mean, obviously I would have loved an all-wheel drive car, but it just feels so smooth and linear. And like I said, I can't get over how easy this car feels to drive. It just feels too easy almost. It's a daily car in disguise. It's amazing what 20 years of engineering can do. I mean, this thing, or almost 20 years, I guess, this thing feels so much better, obviously, than my Celica does, but the steering is so heavy. You get into just a little bit of power and the steering is heavy. It feels so good. All right, guys, so we just finished up with the Type R. Lucian, thanks for the fancy shots.
No problem.
Thanks for the hookup. Your buddy's in the car on the phone, but make sure you thank him for me as well. There she is right there. We just filled her up with gas. You know, he hooked me up. We got to hook them up. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like down below. Subscribe if you have not already. Also follow this guy on YouTube and Instagram, Reppin' the Block. Get at him. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.